Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about DC's comic book and their, for some odd reason, attempt to keep diving into this racism stuff when it comes to their black characters. I don't know what the hell is going on in DC comic books, but it's getting annoying as hell. And I'm getting real sick of it, to be honest. It's really weird seeing this change in DC comic books when, yeah, DC has, touched on the racism thing back in the past, but never to the extent of where they're literally going through and retconning black superheroes' histories to involve racism just for the hell of it. So the black character can overcome racism. Are you kidding me? Come on now. What the hell is going on? You guys don't see us as people. You see us as some like goddamn pet project or some pet that needs protecting from the outside world when you're the ones causing the problem. Not us, not the real world. Don't nobody care about the nonsense. I don't want to be a black person that go in there and read a comic book with a black lead just to constantly be reminded of how much racism there is in the world. I'm not saying that it's not any racism, but as far as hell is better than 300, a couple of, matter of fact, even 50 years ago, you know, and it's just like, why is the 1970s better at treating a black character in a comic book or a book, for instance, than 2021? Don't you find that weird? Don't you find that absolutely weird? You have Nubia, Real One, coming out. That's basically the writer over here talking about, oh, I refuse to work with anybody that's white, or any other race. Only a black person can write this character, and we really wanted to show the struggle of this black woman growing up in a world that hates black people. Are you kidding me right now? Even Shiloh, the third Mr. Miracle, you're going back and retconning his origins to throw in him being a black man and the world really hating him for being black. You did the whole thing with the other side of history with Black Lightning and how he just constantly kept going on with race. Yes, he was created in the 1970s with the hype of the black exploitation movies or whatever, but good God, it is like you're throwing some victimhood. And then don't even get me started with Milestone Entertainment coming back and they're retconning Icon and Static or whatever. Yes, Icon has the right for his race to have that whole racism thing because he was an alien that became a black person because his adoptive mother was a slave back in the day, because he landed in the United States in the deep South during slavery. I get that. But to go back and take other characters of that from the Milestone universe and literally add in Black Lives Matter, police brutality thing going on or whatever, and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of racism for being black is just kind of annoying. Look. The world isn't perfect, but as far as hell better than what it used to be. But this constant having to remind the readers of how terrible the world is or whatever and stuff like that just doesn't work. And it's sad. You're literally showing these black characters being victims instead of just being characters who just happen to be black. What was wrong with Static's origins that you had to go back and add in the Black Lives Matter movement protest? None whatsoever. You didn't have to do that at all. Or the other side of history, where or Truth and Victory, where you have Vixen and Black Lightning dealing with racism or whatever, and upset at the Justice League for only being full of white people, even though a few of them are aliens and what gods really, to be honest. Like, I just don't get that. Or Nubia being literally a dark clay twin sister of Wonder Woman. What is wrong with those origins? Or Shiloh, who was a friend of, Mr. Miracle, the second Mr. Miracle, and becoming his protege, who taught him how to, be an escape artist and, a better performer. I don't understand that kind of stuff. What is wrong with that? Instead of sitting up here showing these characters being, oh, it's the white man's fault or whatever. I mean, I don't think the white readers want to be reminded of how terrible their ancestors was to black people either. And black people don't want to read how terrible their ancestors had it. Like, we're supposed to be having fun with these characters. Yes, you can have real world moments, you can have real world situations, but to constantly keep harping on it is annoying. And then you think you're doing something great by taking classical white characters and making them black. Who is that for? Who are you doing that for? And then when you do that, you literally focus on the character's race. So what was the whole point of changing that character from white to black if you're only going to focus on the fact that they're black? And don't tell me, oh, well, they don't. Yes, they do. I've been watching too many shows where they literally focus on them being black and having to deal with racism, topics that those characters wouldn't have dealt with because they aren't black. So it's weird when you're reading a book about a classic white character and then they're being swapped out to black, and then on the show they're dealing with black people's issues even though there never was black in the beginning. That makes absolutely no sense. You guys are being blatantly racist right now, and then you're trying to blame the readers, or you're trying to blame everybody else for being racist. But no, you're being racist, DC. You're only hiring black people just to write black black characters or draw black characters. Are you kidding me? Then you have Daniel Cherry, lazy ass, up in there, who's a black man, up and a pathetic, poor of excuse of a black man, supposed to be running DC marketing or whatever, and he's terrible. He's terrible. And he wants to be, oh, he's an activist. Oh, here we go with this black bullshit again. You know what I'm saying? You guys are making black people look bad or whatever and stuff like that. When majority black people, they know Black Lives Matter, all right? But they're not supporting the Black Lives Matter movement because a lot of people know that movement is bullshit. But what's crazy is people are convinced that black people, are so heavily invested into this movement that they want to, destroy things or whatever and stuff like that. And that's not how it is. People want to just be treated equally and treated as people. I don't understand why books that had black characters from the 70s, 60s, even maybe 50s that had black people starring in them are treated better than books and entertainment that came out today. That don't make no sense. That makes absolutely no sense, DC. You ain't never really been on this racism bullcrap before. Like I said, yes, you had stories every once in a while that tackled it. But now you're trying to slap us in the face? When people demanded for more diversity or whatever and stuff like that, they meant show more of these characters that you have that are already there, that already have rich history. Nubia's been around for 40 years plus, I believe. You shouldn't have to redo her origins to make it convoluted. She's the magical twin sister. She's the twin black sister of Wonder Woman, who was made from dark clay, which is the representation of the moon, while Diana was made out of white clay, which represents the light, which represents the sun. Sun and moon, light and dark. They're twin sisters. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be convoluted. You know what I'm saying? Static Shock. Static. Virgil Hawkins was a geek loser dork who, got tired of being bullied. One day ran up on some friends who was like, we're gonna end this these bullies, these thug bullies or whatever, meet us at the docks or whatever, and we're gonna square up with the other gang members or whatever. Police caught it. They shot tear gas into them to stop the commotion, and accidentally hit canisters that blew up and gave some of these people powers. End of the conversation. Black Lightning got experimented on, realized that he can control lightning, Black Lightning, and realized he can control electricity, and he decides to go back to Freeland and clean up his city. Simple. Vixen, the Tattoon totem has been passed through family generation, who will become the Vixen, who will also be the guardian of the Red, who can use animal powers and protect the animals. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I'm drawing a blank on all of Vixen right now, but it doesn't take that long. John Stewart, Green Lantern, he had the willpower to also become a Green Lantern and became a stand-in when Hal Jordan couldn't do certain things, and decided to become the leader of the Green Lantern Corps throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte North, a prodigy of Mr. Miracle, who wanted to, be better at performing and being a magician, trained with Mr. Miracle. Now he's the third Mr. Miracle, who can also do the amazing escapism because his mentor taught him how to, perform. And now he goes out and save people's lives and entertain them. What's so hard about that kind of stuff? What's so hard about that? Rocket, young girl who discovered that Ion is an alien that's been living in solitude for a while, and decided to finally convince him to go out in the world and see the world for what it really is, and not by what he used to know back in the day or whatever. And then she becomes his new protege, and she shows him the world, and he changes her view about certain things as well. And she's also is the first teen mom in comic book history who also juggles school, parenthood, and superhero, and makes it work. What's difficult about that story that makes it hard to tell? You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about? Why you gotta get overcomplicated with these characters, with black characters, and why you gotta focus on their race? It makes absolutely no sense. You can't keep focusing on a person's race and then get upset that your readers don't want to read it. I don't want to read that kind of nonsense. It's stupid. You got to do better. You got to do better, DC, because this is some bullshit that you're doing. I'm really alarmed by the fact that you are literally focusing on the wrong things when it comes to these black superhero characters that you have, and then to only focus on the fact that they have to tackle racism. Are you kidding me? We're not back in the past. This isn't 50 years ago. It's the present. Life is a little bit better or whatever. And you don't have to reflect everything that happened in the real world, because a lot of us read these books, go to entertainment to escape the nonsense. I don't want to see a comic book version of the Black Lives Matter protest movement, or a run or Ahmaud Arbery or George Floyd, all that nonsense. Trayvon Martin. I don't want to see comic book versions of those stories depicted all the time in a black superhero book, so we can be reminded of that kind of stuff. Don't nobody want to see that. Don't nobody want to see that all the time. I'm sorry. No, I don't. I don't want to see it on the news, and I definitely don't want to see it in my entertainment. You guys got to stop. Because this is some straight bullshit that y'all doing. For real. You over here want to try to virtue signal, but all you doing is coming off more racist than anything else. And that's real talk. But yeah, that was my video. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.